Testing, testing. All right. Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Makakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and teach well. And shalom to the brothers and sisters, the Akim and Akwaf scattered around the four corners of the earth. All right, that have returned to the obedience of the scriptures. All right, in many cases, looking like heathen. You know what I'm saying? I got to make that point, right? Just to cut, you black only, you Israelites got to be dark skinned. That whole energy got to be cut. All right. And, I just had to make that point right there off rip. You know what I'm saying? Due to the scattering, due to the diaspora. All right. We know that we have Israelites in this time that are going to come back looking like, all other nations. All right. But the bulk of Israel, all right, is over here in North, Central, and South America. But, we know that we have, there are Israelites all over the earth. You know what I'm saying? But Lord's willing, this lesson's edifying. We're going to go into Isaiah, the 47th chapter in this sit down. All right. As usual, we're going to prophesy the downfall of America. And I don't know, if you've been watching the news, all right, if you've been paying attention to what's going on, America is rapidly declining. Like maybe a decade or so ago, or back in 2016 or 2012. All right, you could kind of make the argument that everything was still okay and America's still doing fine, but you can't even make that argument no more. That's out the window. You know what I'm saying? So when you read Isaiah the 47th chapter, especially these first few verses, all right, it's foretold that America would, reach this point where it's on a massive decline. So we're gonna get into that. Got the brother Yesai with me, the beloved brother. So did you have anything you want to bring out, bro?
Yeah, I had a quick one to bring out before we get into the chapter, real quick.
Kind of. You got it.
Just Sirach 10.
Okay.
Rashad, you can get I don't know if you want to pull it up, but Sirach 10 and 8.
Yeah, let me pull it up for you, bro.
Yeah, I can read it, bro. Let's see here. I don't know what's up with the King James version.
You seen that, bro?
Yeah, yeah, it's been tripping.
Oh shit. Maybe it still works, bro. Let's see.
Easy. Yeah, it wouldn't even let me get on it at first.
You saw they're having that situation with the Blue Letter getting hacked or something like that too. Did you see that?
Yep, I did.
So that's a token right there of the famine of the word, if you can receive it. Let me try to find Sirach 10 on just another website.
God, once you get it, I can read it.
Okay. And bear with us, listeners. Thawada, you know what I'm saying? Satan. He on it. Let's see. Sirach chapter 10. And what verse did you want out?
Let me get verse 8.
Okay. Dang, man, you gotta make an account just to read the whole chapter on here.
I got it. I went to this website called Biblia. I got it pulled up.
Okay. You got it.
God, this is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to the other. And when you go into the word kingdom, it's sovereign power or dominion. And so that's what we see happening now, the dominion of Esau Edom, which is really the little hats. These top banking families, Rothschilds, Oppenheimers, they're losing their power because they use America to ultimately get everybody to be in a certain vibration. You see, and now we're seeing that it's declining, which really they want the decline so they can try and bring their N-W-O. But we understand that stuff is going left. They're having issues with this AI situation. America's ultimately at a point where nobody trusts them no more. Nobody trusts the little ass. People like, fuck these niggas, man.
Mm-hmm.
But at one point, everybody was in a situation where they were subjected. They were in subjection to him. They had a reverence towards him. But now everybody like, hell no, y'all niggas tripping.
Yep. Con, I got one or two I'm gonna open up with. This is this is the book of Daniel chapter 4 and verse 17. All right, because when we read Isaiah the 47th chapter, um, America is likened unto a woman. You know what I mean? In Revelation 18, 17, she is America is likened unto a harlot, which is a woman. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about a woman is a weaker vessel. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Yahweh Shem Shai likening a kingdom unto a woman, he's basically letting you know that he is the power, he is the, controlling force behind the scenes. All right. He is that I guess you could say, the masculine, you know what I'm saying? The creator, the controller. These kingdoms that we see, on the earth today are just vessels. They're just vessels being controlled and manipulated by Yahweh Shem Shai. All right, but this is Daniel chapter 4 and verse 17. It says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones." All right, the demand, okay? So again, the downfall of America has been ordained, has been decreed from the heavens. All right, it's not a if, it's not a maybe, what they say in the world, a shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? This has to happen, and it is happening. Okay. Daniel 4 and 17, it says, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men." All right. And the living, all right, really that's code for the remnant, you know what I'm saying, for the elect. The only people really living are those that are tapped into this word. Okay, the scriptures talk about how he quickened us, right? When you get that word quickened, it means to make alive. All right, so we're the only ones that really have our senses, operating how they should. The eyes to see, the ears to hear, right? So the living understand this. Okay, let me finish this out. It says, "To the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the bases of men," right? Which is talking about Esau and the Edomites. Okay, Job 9 and 24, "For the earth is given into the hand of the wicked." All right, and that's what we're getting ready to basically read about here in Isaiah 47. Okay, but if you didn't have anything else, bro, we can go ahead and get into it.
God, I got it pulled up right here.
Con.
This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1. It says, "Come and sit down in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate."
Right, right. So right here, starting off the chapter, okay, the virgin daughter of Babylon. Okay, America is likened unto a virgin daughter because up until this point, all right, America has not actually been, conquered or penetrated, all right, militarily. You know, you had World War I, you had World War II, all right, where the other side of the earth was, heavily destroyed, especially parts of Europe. You know what I mean? But up to this point, America has not really felt what it's like to be invaded. Okay, but that's getting ready to change. All right, very soon. World War III is going to change that. All right, and there's a reason why. Okay, leading up to this war in Iran, all right, one of the main things you had in the news was not even just in the news, but in these right wing, alternative media platforms like Redacted, Glenn Beck, things of that nature. All right, the foreigners, the immigration crisis. All right, which the immigration crisis happened over there in Europe too, but it happened also here in America. All right, which is why you had that influx basically of heathen, military aged, I may add, heathen. All right, mass migrating over here to the states. All right, so that right there tells you right there, that the stage is being set for America to be penetrated, to be invaded. Okay,
Got a quick precept for you.
you got it, bro.
And if you want to pull it up, it's Jeremiah 49. I'm going to read 15 and read a little bit on down in the NLT.
Gone.
Yep, it says Jeremiah 49 and 15. It says, Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah says to Edom, I will cut you down to size among the nations. You will be despised by all. Because at a point in time, America had that stoutness. Everybody was all looking at the small hats, looking at them as if they were on some type of level. But now we're seeing that these nations, they like, we got nuclear weapons too. And they seeing them like, man, y'all some hypocrites. They've been doing nothing but doing straight wickedness. And they even it's to the point where they gave, first off, you gave all these nations your blessing. And not only that, you don't have no good missile defense system. Your missile defense system got like a 51% failure rating. You see, that's why like certain brothers they'll like in America to being like unwalled. Not like the missile defense system is terrible. Because that's part of what Israel like our land. We had a lot of hill places that are on like hills. It's hard to conquer that type of place. But America, they have no defense because that's how proud they are. And they gave her how you gonna give everybody your blessing, and then you don't work on your missile defense system. And now they're trying at the last second trying to get nations they're trying to destabilize nations because they starting to build themselves up, but it's not working. So these nations are like on the level we on a level 2. The little ones are saying they're big, loosely paraphrasing.
Yep.
This is verse 16. It says, you have been deceived by the fear you inspire in others and by your own pride. You live in a rock fortress and control the mountain heights. But even if you make your nest among the peaks with eagles, I will bring you crashing down, said Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And they got these satellites, got all these various types of technology where they can be shooting missiles from the sky. And then also just their pride. You see, they pride that they're exalted as hell. Like an eagle was one of the highest flying birds. Their pride is to that level. For you to say that if the Lord floods the earth, then we ain't worried about it. They have that level of pride, man. To the point where they think they're above the Lord's judgment. And that's why he's going to take down his kingdom as such. But America is in a state where it hasn't been attacked. It hasn't really went through nothing yet. A lot of the people here. But we're getting ready to see that change.
Yep, that's it. And if I can add on to what you're saying, this place is also vulnerable because, like, you made that point about the unwalled villages. When you consider the people here in America are extremely vulnerable, right? They're vulnerable due to basically the fact that we've been cut off from our connection to the land here, via technology. People don't know how to do basic things for themselves. All right. And you combine that with the infrastructure, right? The fact that everybody is reliant upon, going to the grocery store, right? Having power, having all these various things. Okay. What are you people going to do when all that's cut off? And we know what y'all are going to do. Y'all are going to be through. Y'all going to bug out. All right. And y'all going to be funneled, so to speak, right into the MOTB, right into the CHIP, which is that's the plan. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot. You got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's also that precept I just read, and what you just quoted. It also lines up with that scripture in Revelation. I said as a woman, I shall see no evil. Loosely paraphrasing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how Americans in that spirit, like, man, we ain't gonna never go down. It's always that damn proud villain on a show. Like Esau's really that mad scientist that thinks he's never gonna get stopped.
Yep. That's the spirit. I actually had that in Psalms 10.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and just bring it out. Bro. This is Psalms chapter 10. And I'm gonna read this in verse 6. All right. But I'm gonna start just a little bit up. Psalms 10 and 4. It says, "The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after Yahweh." All right. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is not in all his thoughts. Okay. Which is why you see, all right, basically this technological, digital system that Esau is trying to set up. All right. It's completely adverse to the ways of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. It's weird. All right, and it produces nothing but death. Okay. Verse 5, it says, His ways are always grievous, thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. So just laying back on what's being brought out, basically, um, Esau's operating as if he's always going to be, at the top, at the top of the mountain, man. All right. And these people that are part of this system, they live their lives as if that's true too. You know what I mean? People's whole life is centered around the American dream. All right, but guess what? The American dreams dreams are temporary, man. You have a dream and then you wake up. That shit ain't real. All right, so you people are in for a rude awakening. All right, when this downfall, really commences, and it's already started, but it's going to accelerate. You know, but we could jump back if you don't have anything up.
God, yep, we get back.
Pull it back up on the screen.
You ready for verse 2 or you want to read verse 1 again?
We can read verse 1 again.
God, I figured. This is Isaiah 47. I'm going back to verse 1. It says, come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Mm-hmm. And do you mind? Could you get one of those words, tender and delicate, by chance?
God.
And I'm gonna read a couple of these articles, off of Grok. I had asked Grok. All right. I said articles that show more nations are resenting America in the last month, right? Because basically what we see now, all right, which is all over the mainstream media, it's all over the media in general, is these other nations are really starting to hate America, all right, and especially Trump, all right, which Trump is no more than a figurehead, all right, a spokesman, right, that's being controlled by the elite. Okay, but people are starting to realize that America is a problem in the earth. Okay, so I asked it, the question, and I'll read a little bit of it. It says, here are several recent articles and reports, primarily from April 2026, highlighting rising resentment or declining favorability towards the United States in various countries. It says this appears driven by Trump administration policies, including tariffs, NATO-related tensions, and threats involving Greenland, Canada, and the U.S. role in the Iran conflict. All right. It says key articles, and I'm not going to read all these articles. I'm just going to read some of the headlines because it shows you a trend. Okay, and this trend is outlined in the scriptures. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, comes to mind, right? Psalms 140, okay, amongst other scriptures. But the first one, it says key articles and polls from the last month. All right, it says, I just got back from Europe. Anti-American sentiment is on the rise. LA Times, April 12th, 2026. It says a columnist, and you can stop me at any time, bro. It says a columnist describes personal experiences of disapproval in Paris, a busker's thumb down to America. All right. And Paris, France, right? That's a NATO country. You know what I'm saying? And again, that's exactly what Revelation 17 and 15, where it talks about that. The 10 horns shall hate the whore.
Yep, that's Revelation 17.
Con, I might as well get that real quick, man.
If I may add too, you also see people coming against those the tiny cap, because they understand that a lot of the issues that's happening is because of the damn tiny caps.
Mm-hmm.
Because like America's really just following them, like that. You can tell that's like they get bossed around by the tiny caps, because they're doing like a lot of the stuff they're doing is on behalf of them. A lot of the issues we see right now, they're sending hella money to fund them, so they can go commit G-side on people and go bomb people. And not only that, they're trying to take over. They really trying to get the Holy Land, and then also they want to kind of push that vibration of like, yeah, we're the Lord's people. So now we deserve to get whatever we want. We can just do whatever on earth. And nations is like, hell no. Fuck y'all niggas, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I can get it for you though.
Oh, I got it here.
Okay.
I got it here in Revelation 17. I'm going to start at verse 15. It says, "And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore," right? Which is what we see happening now. It says, "And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire." All right. And I'm going to get this word hate just for edification. Right. Because that's what we're reading about, you know what I'm saying, right now. All right. Even people, especially here in the States, people are really starting to hate this place. You're seeing more and more, content online about people just hating their life, complaining, right? And all this debt, miserable. It says Strong's G 3404, Maseo. All right, it's that word hate. It says pursue with hatred, detest. Okay, to love less. All right, look up this word detest. Detest. It says to intensely hate, loathe, or abhor someone or something. All right. So that's it right there, man. Okay. We're seeing anti-America energy, so to speak, increasing on the earth, which is a sign that this place is getting ready to go down. Okay. So let me go back. That's all I want. Or did I get let me read verse 16. Salaki, I don't know if I read verse 16.
No, you read verse 16.
Okay, I read it.
Yeah, and also, some of those nations are actually openly kind of like, yeah, we ain't siding with you. We ain't siding with y'all niggas. They ain't really trying to help them. It is a war we see going on right now. Because they know it's unrighteous. It's not. It's unjust. Then they putting then Trump is dealing unjustly with some of his alliances like Canada, Greenland. It's like, damn, what the fuck? Like, hey, bro.
Yep.
Just crashing out.
Yep.
Because I know Turkey was openly saying we ain't siding with y'all niggas. And they got a strong military. Because they said they shall burn it with fire. That's talking about these European Union nations. They turned on America, saying, no, they bombing America with these other nations. That's already enemies.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Starting conflict with nations that ain't even have no problem right now. Like Greenland. Like, you don't hear about Greenland in the news, man. Greenland ain't even doing shit. But this is a recipe for disaster. This is Esauing, man. You know what I mean? And this is what's going to lead to that Obadiah, the first chapter, taking place. What does it say? Those that were at confederacy with thee have deceived thee. Roughly paraphrasing, man. So we see the play, man. It's all playing out. Prophecy is undefeated. Okay.
You still want a tender and delicate?
Oh yeah, Baba Shah, you got that.
Yeah, I got it. You wanted a blue letter or like that, or the etymology definition?
Whichever you think is good. We can get both, honestly.
Okay. So this is I'm looking at right here. I got to zoom in too much. Hold on. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, this is the word for tender. All right. It says rock. All right, you come down here. It says tender, soft, delicate, weak. Weak of heart, timid. And then it says figuratively weak and faint-hearted. Then you go over here, it says tender-hearted one. And what that made me think about, because I just looked up here, it said weak of heart and timid. Well, why are you trying to stop a nation from building up their nuclear capabilities if you're so strong? Because them niggas scared. That's why. They scared. They know that it's not the same no more. These nations, they got a different type of confidence. Because they got some nuclear capabilities too, and they trying to stop that. So they can continue to just bully people easily. But nowadays it's like, nah, we're gonna give resistance.
Yep. Yep. They show that in like if you watch particular TV shows or movies like um timepieces where it's going into a king, in his kingdom, usually a sign that a king is about to go down is he gets paranoid. You know what I mean? He gets worried about these like random, skirmishes or people within his camp. You know what I mean? And he starts to bug out, you know. And that's what we see happening with Esau. Best believe behind the scenes, he's seeing chariots, he's seeing spirits. The Lord's plaguing his mind with various, diseases and things of that nature, right? He's bugging out. Like when you read about Pharaoh in Exodus, the Lord was literally straight up controlling Pharaoh's mind. Pharaoh was bugging out. You know what I'm saying? Imagine you're a king, right? And your kingdom is experiencing all these various plagues, right? And you don't know why they're happening. You don't know how long they're gonna last, right? This is exactly what Esau's going through in these times today. But we can see it through the spirit. You know what I mean? The impulsivity. You know. Was there any more on that?
No, I got delicate now.
Come on.
All right, you come down to the word for delicate. It says right here, it says I knock. I knock. All right, it says dainty, delicate, luxurious, delicate. And they go right perfectly with Revelation.
Yep.
If you don't mind, I can get it for you. Revelation 18:7.
Yeah, let's get that.
This is book of Revelations, chapter 18, and verse 7. It says, how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. It's like we're going into basically mirroring what we were talking about earlier. She's never going to go down. But as you looked, it says she glorified herself, lived deliciously. Everybody getting that bread in America. Yeah, man, we're gonna come to America and get rich. Like a lot of these foreigners, they come in here thinking they finna just ball out. And now they get fucked up like we trying to go back.
Yep. Because the quality of life is rapidly decreasing as prices go up, and as the wage gap, is widened, So a lot of these heathen are realizing, shit, what's the point of being over here away from my family, away from my culture, and I'm just broke? What's the point? You know what I mean? I'm struggling. A lot of them are over here just so that they could send money back home. You know what I mean? So as a lot of this stuff comes to an end, all right, the grinding ceases. As I was gonna get that, and we'll get to it, Lord's willing. But a lot as this economy breaks down, a lot of these heathen are gonna go back home. They're just gonna dip. A lot of them are gonna stay and get destroyed, but a certain amount of them are gonna aren't gonna leave. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, that's showing you that it's that delusion. People starting to see this place for what it really is. Because a lot of places like, hell no, nah. They came over here and they're like, yep, we're going back. This shit is not what everybody make it out to be. You look on the internet, it look all so fancy. Everybody like they get money and all this stuff. It looks all it's like this is a place to be. But now it's not the same no more.
Yep.
Yeah, like the brother has got to join back in here. Yes, as we see, I'm gonna read this next verse as well. Because when you read the next verse, it says right here, verse 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Yahweh Bashem shall judge her. So even though America's in that a state of thinking it'll never go down, the Lord's gonna still bring that judgment into it, man. Plagues like it did ancient Egypt. Famine, pestilence, nuclear destruction. So we're seeing that this place that's never been destroyed looks like it's invincible. Looks like it's never going to go down. That's how ancient Egypt was. We're about to see the Lord. The Lord is touching this place right now. I see you back now, bro.
Yeah. It's like I hit the wrong button.
Hey, that's ice call to up.
If you don't have anything, I'm gonna keep reading a couple of these headlines.
Oh yeah, you good? Let's get it.
Yep. It says on the key articles. Another one. It says America's reputation drops across the world. Ipsos, April 17th, 2025. It says a 29 country poll found the United States has seen a positive, excuse me, seen as a positive global influence drop sharply in 26 out of 29 countries over 6 months. It says the biggest plunge was in Canada from 52% to 19% positive. And that's our next door neighbor, man. That's the person that got the most in-depth, look, so to speak. You know what I mean? It says for the first time, China ranked ahead of the US on positive world influence. Traditional allies in Europe and Canada showed the steepest declines. There it is. You know what I mean? There it goes. So we can jump back to Isaiah 47 if you want.
God. Yep. Yeah, it show you, man. This place is not the same no more. That's why they got MAGA. Why the hell you think they got MAGA if it's great? You wouldn't know MAGA. You go like maybe
Mm,
go like some years ago. Why I gotta be great again?
yep, that's a
Back
great
then,
point.
we think niggas was running around talking about some MAGA back then. Nah, bro.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. You got it.
Yeah, this is Isaiah 47. I'll just go ahead and get verse 1 again. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate."
Mhm.
This is verse 2. "Take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass through the rivers."
Mhm. Yep. And I wanted to get a definition of the word mill, right? Because millstones are basically the stones that make up what is called a mill. All right. You basically had two stones that laid on top of each other that would grind down, grain and particular things. But I wanted to get this definition real quick on that because what we see right now is a transitioning happening. All right. Which is what verse 2 is saying. All right. Basically, in verse 1, all right, America, the virgin daughter of Babylon, she's in this, she's pedestalized, right? She's in this, delicate state. The scriptures liken America to a golden cup. All right, but in verse 2, there's a transition that's going to happen to where she goes from being pedestalized to basically being a damn slave, to being a scoundrel. You know what I'm saying? Um, Let me read this definition real quick.
I already got it pulled up.
Oh, of a mill?
Yeah.
Okay, you got it.
Yep. I got it in the blue letter, by the way. I don't know if you wanted it in the regular definition, but I got the blue letter one.
Con, I was going to read it out of this Bible dictionary.
Oh,
In
God.
fact,
Okay. Okay. You got it
yeah,
then.
yeah. Let me share this real quick. Um, yeah, I've been trying to get into the Bible dictionaries, bro. I don't know. It's just satisfying. But can you see my screen?
God, yep, it shows it.
Okay, I'm gonna zoom in as much as I can. All right, but when you read about a mill, it says an apparatus used to grind any edible grain, wheat, barley, oats, rye, etc., into flour. It says it consists of two circular stones, the lower one having a slightly convex upper surface to help the drifting of broken grain towards the outer edge. All right, you can Google a picture, I'm saying, of what that looks like. It says, I'm gonna read down here because it talks about Isaiah 42. It says it was forbidden to take a millstone in pledge, Deuteronomy 24:6. And Jeremiah 25:10 says the sound of millstones is mentioned as a sign of happy, prosperous life. But in Isaiah 47:2, the prophet taunted the proud and delicate women of Babylon with the thought that they would have to become, oh shoot, let me go up, that they would have to become slaves and labor at the mill. Okay, so basically, this way of life here in America, all right, which is likened unto a woman, okay, it's the way of life is going to change, man. All right. People are not going to be able to just chill, right, and sit back and do whatever the hell they want to do and enjoy the dainties and, these little conveniences. All right. America's getting ready to go to really a third world country type, situation. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're getting ready to see. And you women, all right, these women literally, all right, especially are going to feel it the hardest, because women weren't designed to really be able to deal with the elements like that. And when things really get, nitty gritty, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was all I had on that. Do you have anything,
Kind
bro?
of. And he said it perfectly. You ready for verse 3?
Khan, yeah, you got it.
Yep, this is Isaiah 47 and verse 3. It says, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man."
Hmm. Right. So all the things that, used to be hidden, used to be a secret about, America and the way that it governed its people, all right, the way in which it, its diplomacy, right, the way it dealt with other nations, all that has been brought to light. Okay, all of that is being exposed, and that links up with a scripture here that I'm gonna get in Isaiah chapter 60. Okay, because when you get that word locks in verse 2, right, where it says uncover the locks, when you go into that word locks, it goes into a veil, right? Basically, the things that fasten down a veil, because in the ancient world, women were covered, you know, they were covered, and when women showed, their nakedness, when they showed various parts of their body, it was a sign of shame, you know, it was discouraged. Okay, but let me read this here in Isaiah 60 and verse 2. It says, "For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and the gross darkness the people." Okay, so like this isn't what I wanted. I wanted Isaiah 25, the covering where it talks about the covering cast. Let me see real quick.
Let me see.
I want to say that's Isaiah 25. Yep, this is Isaiah 25 and 7. Salakia. It says, "And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations." All right. So up until this point, all right, and really up until the elders and apostles were raised up, all right, and started bringing out all this information and all these scriptures, all right, America was still seen as that, beacon of light, you know what I mean, on the world stage. All right. But really, America is the valley of the shadow of death, as the scriptures say, Psalms 23, So all that's being revealed right now, that shame, that wickedness. But we could jump back if you don't have anything, bro.
I got a quick one for you. Because
Okay.
like that next verse, that verse 3, it said, "Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, and thy shame shall be seen." I got Lamentations 4 and 21. It says, "Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz." This is like a mocking, like mocking you. Like have a good time, nigga. Enjoy your. It's like a nigga might be talking in boxing. He be like, hey, make sure my title feel good. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy that last night with the title. It says here, "That dwellest in the land of Uz, the cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken, and thou shalt make thyself naked." Right? And that means their sin is gonna be shown. The transgression, everybody is seeing them for who they truly are. If somebody gets drunk, they make a goddamn fool out of themselves. And that's what we see happening right now. Americans making a fool out of themselves. And this is verse 22. "The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, the sins upon sins, O daughter of Edom. he will discover our sins. And that's what we see happening now. That's how they're being made naked. Like we are the prophets. And even you have certain of these nations that are exposed to a lot of stuff they do on these little islands. And, you know, they got the nations burning down the statue of Molech and all this other stuff. So, hey, we see these motherfuckers be exposed for who they truly are.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's beautiful.
Ready for the next verse? And also it said, "Look, I will not meet thee as a man." That's talking about Yahushua coming back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Yahushua coming with that heavenly estate, the heavenly glory. That's why it says he shall sparkle. He shall. Let me see if I can get that real quick. This is why this is gonna happen. I think it's Isaiah 52. I'll grab this real quick.
Yep. If I can mention while you're getting that, it shows the Lord in that glorified state in Revelation 1. You know, like when you read about the depiction of Yahushua in that in that state, that was basically Yahushua in like his heavenly form. You know what I mean? His Super Saiyan, like, you know what I mean?
That's us basically. That's all it is us.
Yeah.
I got the Isaiah 52 and 15. Bible Kashar. You got it pulled up already? Oh, you already got it pulled up. No, you're getting it. But yeah, this is Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 15. It says, "So shall he sprinkle many nations. The kings shall shut their mouths at him. For that which had not been told them they shall see, and that which they had not heard shall they consider." When you get that word sprinkle, all right, that word is nazah, all right, and it says to cause to leap, to startle. Then you come right here, it says, scrolling down to the Strongs. Let me see where it's at. Okay. Some of her spurted against the wall. It's one definition down here in the Strongs. Because, oh, here we go. It says, to follow upon. Let me see here. Because that's what's going to happen when Yahushua returns. Okay, says, "How you sprinkle many nations with blood." Let me see, not that. There's one definition that goes into like startle. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to be scared when Yahushua returns. You read about that in Revelation 6, because he's going to come in that heavenly estate with the fire, and the chariots like a whirlwind, bringing that judgment. So they're going to be scared.
Yeah. I don't know if this is what you're looking for. Right here it says, in the Brown Driver Briggs lexicon, it says, "To spurt, to spatter, always of blood." You know, that makes me think about what Luke 19 and 27. All right, those, you know, that would not, you know, have me reign. All right, slay them before me, roughly paraphrasing. All right, this is vivid imagery that the Lord is given. Like, there's no way to misinterpret these scriptures right here. You know what I mean? That shows you that most people that got a Bible ain't actually teaching the Bible. They just making up shit, or they're leaving out certain scriptures. You know, but you got it.
Oh yeah, yep. So that's what we get ready to see, man. These motherfuckers gonna be scared because you're gonna come in that heavenly estate. You know how we got the little show, the Invincibles and stuff like that. Yeah, I was trying to come on some stuff like that. When them, like, I don't know if you ever watched it, bro. That Invincible show. When them Viltrumites come through, they were scared. They were looking at them like, oh shit, these Viltrumites coming. They scared. Well, that's how y'all shopping to come.
Mm-hmm.
Because they basically like super power entities that they cannot be messed with.
Yep. Talks about that in Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 15. Let me get that in the GNT, since King James Bible Online is bugging out right now.
Yeah, it's tripping.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 8 and 15 in the GNT. It said, dreaded tyrants will be seized with fear at the mention of my name. I will be famous as a good king and a brave soldier when I come home. Or that's the point. You know what I'm saying? The Lord's
that's what they
can
be scared.
Revived. Yep.
That's why it says it's gonna be kings hiding from the wrath of the Lamb in Revelation 6. It's not gonna be no just regular fucking Joe Blow, big beer belly, you know what I'm saying, hillbilly ass. No, we talking about the top elite gonna be scared. trying to hide from the wrath of the Lamb.
Yep. They gonna be scared. They're scared of us now. You know, Wisdom of Solomon, was it Wisdom of Solomon 5? All right. They're scared now. Like when you read about the Exodus, Pharaoh was scared of Moses. You know what I mean? He was scared of what the Lord was doing in Egypt. You know, so really that fear is getting ready to be heightened, and that's what people do when they don't understand something. They fear it and they seek to get rid of it. You know, so they're gonna try to get rid of this word. They're gonna try to get rid of us, but it's all gonna blow up in their face. There is no getting rid of the word of Yahweh Shem Shai. You know.
All right, ready to go back?
Yeah, we can jump back.
Yep, this is Isaiah 47. I'll just read verse 3 and go to verse 4. It says, Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Verse 4. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel.
Our Redeemer. Okay. All right. Which the scriptures tell you in Deuteronomy 28. All right. I want to say like the last verse, no man shall buy you. Right. When you get that word buy in that verse, it goes into being redeemed. Okay. Because in order for us to get out from underneath the curses, all right, there was a transaction that had to be made in blood. And that transaction basically was Yahweh Shai's sacrifice. Okay, and you can read about that in 1 Peter 1. Let me get that real quick. All right, this is 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 18 and 19. But I might have to read a little bit more down because this is good stuff. This is 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 17. It says, and if he call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear, right? Which also makes me think about the Passover, right? The blood being sprinkled on the doorpost. That was a time of fear. Okay, and that was a time of sojourning because we were on the move. We were transitioning, you know what I'm saying? But in verse 18, it says, for as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver and gold from your vain conversation received by tradition from your fathers, but with the precious blood of Hamashiach, as a lamb without blemish and without spot. All right, so that Redeemer that Isaiah 47 is talking about is Yahushua. All right, who comes in the name of the Father, Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? That blood that he spilled was so that we could be redeemed, so that we could be brought back, to Yahweh. Okay. But that was it. We can jump back.
Okay. This is Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 5. It says, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that again, that's pretty much going into what verse 1 was going into. All right, thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right, thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. All right, because when you get that word lady, all right, you get that word lady in the blue letter, and it goes into a mistress, I want to say. All right, Strong's H 1404, Gabarath, and it says mistress. Okay, and a mistress was basically the chief harlot at a harlot house. If you had a harlot house, that got 10 harlots in it, all right, you would have that one chief harlot that basically took orders from the I forget what it's called in the ancient world. I don't know if it's called, like Game of Thrones, the dude on Game of Thrones, I forgot what his title was. But in the modern term, they call him what, a pimp. You know what I'm
Yeah, a
saying?
pimp,
But
a whoremonger and
a
shit.
whoremonger, right?
Yeah.
Right. So you would have the whoremonger, and he has the mistress who basically manages all the other harlots. In America has basically been that chief harlot. You know, but again, that shows you that America ain't running shit. These Edomites ain't really running shit. It's Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that's controlling all of this. Okay, let me just get something real quick to back that up. This is Proverbs 21:1. All right, it says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Okay, so that always has to be at the forefront of your mind. You know, there's a higher power at work behind the scenes, and that's the power that we serve and that we know is the true power. You know.
I was gonna add to you too that it said Queen. You know, Elder Pastor Hardy breaks down. I got a quick precept. Elder Pastor
Mm,
Hardy breaks down that all the time, where Queen really means like a hoe or a harlot.
mm,
Like when you go into the actual like the ancient word of what it actually would mean. So y'all bitches like call themselves Queen, really call themselves a fucking hoe. But I have a
mm,
precept, a quick one. It's a Nahum 3 and 4. Because we know that that goes to the ancient Nineveh, Assyria, but America is spiritual. He can't come in the same spirit as Assyria. They have that power and that influence, and they're all into. You have the Chaldeans, and you got all these guys that America has to get people to commit all types of spiritual fornication. That's why it's called Mother of Harlots and Abominations on Earth. So this was how ancient Nineveh, Assyria was. It was in that same type of spirit. And even go all the way back to Nimrod, had everybody trying to build a big ass tower, trying to build up to the heavens. But this is Nahum 3 and verse 4. It says, because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that selleth nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts. Right? So that's another precept we can go to, proving America to be that fucking mistress, like you just went into with Isaiah 47. And it
mm-hmm.
said mistress of witchcrafts because that's what it pushes out. You know, all types of rebellion on the planet Earth.
Yep. Yep. Craft, man. This whole society is witchcraft. This whole way of life that we're living, you know, is a product of left hand, magic basically. Like these iPhones, right? Technology, it's all wickedness, man. All right. But the beautiful thing about it is when the kingdom comes, the righteous version of everything is going to go forth, because there is a correct way, to do a lot of these things. It's just it wasn't given to Esau to do it. It was given unto Yahweh and the elect to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's exploited a lot of things and made it wicked.
Hmm.
Because there's a certain level of indulgence. Everything can become bad if you do too much of it. There's no balance. When you
Hmm.
see Esau's kingdom, there's no balance here. So that's why it's over. People overindulging in drinking alcohol. People are overindulging in sex. People
Hmm.
are addicted to food. They don't know when how to stop eating. So on and so forth. Because he uses witchcraft, like you're talking about, to get to deceive everybody and fuck up everybody's mind.
Yep. Yep. That's it. Con, what verse did we get to? We got to verse.
We have verse 5 right now.
Okay. We can do like a couple more. We close it out.
That this is Isaiah 47 and 6. It says, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid the yoke.
Hmm. Yep. And all right, that's why we're here. We're here because the Lord was wroth, all right, with his people. Okay, in verse 6. You know what I'm saying? The Lord was wroth with basically the way that we conducted ourselves in the land. You know what I'm saying? So he allowed us to be touched, all right, and to be brought into captivity, all right. But the beautiful part about it is this was always a part of the plan, all right, to basically purify the elect, because that shows you the balance of this thing too. All right, the elect, the remnant, all right, it was always known that from the foundation of the earth we would go through this, but through this we will be purified. All right, we would be made perfect. All right, and that actually lines up with a precept that I had held, right? Because the scripture says, "Upon the ancient has thou verily laid the yoke." Okay, this is here in Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 23. All right, I'm gonna start at verse 22. It says, "But ye are come unto Mount Zion, and unto the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, to an innumerable company of angels." Okay, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn, right? Because when you get that word ancient in Isaiah 1 in Isaiah 47, all right, that word goes into elders, okay? And the elect, all right, the 144,000 are really the elder spirits of the nation. They're the firstborn, okay? It says, which are written in heaven, and to the God, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect. Okay, so it was known from the beginning who those chief spirits were, but we had to go through the process of being perfected, you know, and we've gone through it, and we're almost at the end of it. You know, that's the exciting part. You know what I'm saying? Um, did you have anything up?
Now,
Con, I got another one. This is Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 26. And it reads, it says, "And I will restore." Oh, matter of fact, let me start up. This is Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 24. It says, "Therefore saith the Lord of hosts, the mighty one of Israel." It says, I will ease me of mine adversaries and avenge me of mine enemies. And I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tin. Okay? And that's what's happening now, man. Through the fire, through the things that we're going through and are going to go through, we're going to be purified. It says, "And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning, and afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city." Okay. So yes, you know, the men of the Lord, the prophets that the Lord has risen up, those are those ancient, you know, that the Lord heavily, you know, is laying the yoke. Okay, but we're gonna be delivered, you know. But you got it out.
yep, yep. Seeing Esau's going to have to get judged for what he's done to the Lord's people, because Scripture say that who shall bemoan thee. It also speaks about no nation has suffered as we did, because under the hands of these various nations, they helped forward the affliction.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the Heavenly Father's going. They had a good time putting our ass. Now it's pretty good time to get their ass whooped. The
Yep.
table's going to turn. That's how the Heavenly Father is balanced. To give everybody a chance. Time and opportunity happen to every man. So now we're
Right.
about to see Israel get our time.
Con, man, that's heavy, bro. Because that shows you like you can't. What's this, the saying in the New Testament? Kicking against the pricks.
Oh yeah,
You know
you
what I
can't.
mean? Like Esau swear he in his bag. You know what I mean? But really, you're just fulfilling the will of the Lord. Like the straight gate, for example, or coming down the persecution, coming down on brothers. All that's gonna do is finish off that perfection process. Like, so it doesn't matter what you do, Esau. You can do whatever you want. It's only going to lead to your downfall. You can't make a right decision. Every decision you make is going to lead to the will of the Lord being fulfilled. You know, but you got it, bro.
Yep, this is Isaiah 47 in verse 7. It says, "And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it."
Mm-hmm. Yep. So America, Esau has been operating under this mindset that they're gonna reign forever. All right, but now it's starting to hit them. Right now, it's really starting to sink into the brains of these people that this place might not make it. Like people are finally starting to, we're starting to see it, man. Like you can see it on people's faces, man. When you just at the store and if you really paying attention, these people see that Babylon is getting lined up through the spirit. You know what I mean? Through these things that are happening on the earth. You know, and we rejoice. We're rejoicing in the spirit. Revelation, the 18th chapter, goes into that. You know, but that's all I had. I think we made it to a good stopping point. You had anything, bro?
Hey, no, hey, it's called a while. Like we made it about halfway,
Con,
just about.
con. Well, Lord's willing, we're gonna do a part two. All right, on this. The water brother for reading and adding points. The water for the people that joined. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh,
Hawa,
Bahashem,
Bashim,
Yahushua,
Abishai,
Bahashem
Bashim,
Rakakwadash.
Kakwadash.
Double honors again to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and teach well. And shalom to the next lesson.
Shalom.